such an asshole.
Good morning. Time to get working because Cappy's got a lot to do. Hey, Cappy, I'd like a video response. I'm 25 with a $580,000 net worth. Where are the good men gone? He also has his parents still together. Can you imagine that? Can you make girls, ladies who are about to vote for Harris? Could you imagine that? People with their fathers do so much better. Imagine that if houses were not built on single parenthood or divorce, if you avoid those two things, I'm no economist or statistician, but it seems to me that the clients I get, Cappy, I'm not 30 yet and I almost got $500,000 in the bank. My dad says hi. He's banging mom regularly. Just me. I'm no sociologist, but it would seem 115,000, a 3.5% high yield savings account, 12,500 cash, and the rest in assets. 5'5" from Philly. Oh, sir, how dare you come on to my fucking show with your otherwise perfectly scripted request and you're 5'5"? You dare to talk to me? You come into my house under 6 feet tall. You got some gall, buddy. You know what? And God bless the internet. I'm wondering, it's an aside. I'm wondering because you're a younger guy, okay? You're 25. So you've had the internet. You weren't growing up completely blind. Like you had some radar due to the red pill content before. And I bet there's a positive correlation between men who are short and relatively young who took the red pill or had, that knowledge installed in, and they're wealthier at a young age because well, shit, I'm not going to waste my time chasing. I don't stand a shot. And oh my God, look at that. $430 an hour, gentlemen. If you're between the ages of 18 and 22, $430 is the value of 1 hour of your life. You factor in opportunity costs. You just pay attention, boys. I wrote in a week ago asking if I should get a condo or rent an apartment or go overseas. You suggested overseas would be the best option, but as with anything, there's always trade-offs. Yeah, why are you telling me stuff that Thomas Sowell told everyone? There are no solutions, only trade-offs. This got me thinking of a broader topic. I'd like you to do a video on pertaining to the idea of stability versus mobility. Stability being owning a home and mobility being using that money to invest in travel overseas. Okay, well, I think you got a flawed premise right off the bat here. All right. Home ownership does not mean stability. Owning a home there's a lot of work and responsibility that goes into that. If you look at terms, let's remove money for a moment. All right. There is more risk and less stability in home ownership than just finding a nice apartment, 1 bedroom or whatever studio and living in that. The reason why is that you don't have to spend all the time maintaining and maintaining the home. If an apartment, it's just, and depending on the home, depending on how fancy you get. Now I'm real scaled down. Right. And I know I've been talking about my house for like 4 years with all the stuff that goes into it and everything. But that's because it's new and I didn't own any shit to furnish it before. So let's remove all the work that went into it, like that comes with a brand new home, right? Oh, we got to do the landscaping. We got to do this. The driveway needs that kind of thing. Let's just remove all that. Let's say you got a regular old home, right? That still requires maintenance. You got to mow the yard. You got to whatever, repair the heater, all that stuff. And so on the face of it, home ownership is, if you're single, you don't have kids. If you're just a single bachelorette, such as yourself, 9 out of 10 times, it's better that you rent an apartment because the amount of risk in being a renter is lower than owning a home. You throw in the finances, and again, 9 out of 10 times. There's a place out there, there's a property out there, maybe this ain't the case. But 9 out of 10 times, a single man such as yourself, it's better for you to rent and treat your housing issue as merely a form of a consumptive item that you need lodging rather than an investment. And then to add a third layer to this, you're right. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be investing in real estate. This doesn't mean that there aren't benefits that come from investing in real estate. It's just that uh, the owning an actual home is not the only way to own real estate. And an option for people such as yourselves who want the stability of investing in real estate, but you do not want the obligations that comes with home ownership. You got two basic options. One, you just buy the land, which I've been telling people about that for a while. You go do your reconnaissance throughout the United States or the world. You find out where you want your forever home to be, which you may not build till you're 50, right? You may not build it until that. You just got the land, right? You just, okay, well, I'm going to buy the land now. And you could make the argument, oh, well, then I found an even better place 15 years later. Okay, well, then you sell your land and go buy the land elsewhere. So that's one option. The other option is this thing called real estate investment trusts. So if you want to invest in real estate, but your lifestyle is not conducive to home ownership, which again, 90% of single people, it's not. You go and invest in a real estate investment trust, which is nothing more than a mutual fund of different properties. One might even argue it's less risk than owning property because a mutual fund of properties has multiple properties. And usually, like if you just buy land, unless you're renting it out to a farmer or something, it's just land. It doesn't generate cash flows. If anything, it costs you property taxes. But with a real estate investment trust, there are operating land that is being used in operations, whether it's farming, parking lots, rental property, malls, senior living. All right. So you got a diversified portfolio of income generating properties investing through a real estate investment trust. And I think that's the silver bullet to your problem. And it's something that young people ought to consider if you're starting like, whoa, I'm not today and not tomorrow, but someday I'd like to own property or at least get some exposure in property. And you're right. Property, I think, is the part of any well-balanced investment portfolio. Don't be fucking around with what tarring driveways and replacing water heaters and having to go look for houses and having inspectors come in who are dumber than shit. You could do a job better. So who missed the crack in the foundation? No. I mean, here's another thing. Look at yourself right now. You're doing exceptionally well. I don't know what you do for a living, but whatever it is, what you're doing right now is exceptionally well. Why fuck with that with a house? You know, why draw from your output? I could show you the charts. You could see if you follow my YouTube volume of views. Like you can look at I don't know if you guys can. I know I can. I got my analytics. You can see where, Cappy was working on the deck, or Cappy was working on the retaining walls, or Cappy was something not making money on the internets. He was doing something else. It drops, or going and visiting people because I had to. And a house is going to pull you off the line in a certain regard. Now, sometimes some people in the right point in their lives, it's efficient. It makes sense to go get a house, but you're not one of them. You're really not. And I'm not saying you don't buy a house sometime in the future. I'm just saying at this moment in time, while you're killing it and you're asking about travel and you're not sure, don't buy out. But if you want, there are real estate investment trusts where today even, you go to whatever Vanguard or Charles Schwab or whoever the brokerage is, you find, hey, do you guys have real estate investment trust? Find yourself a ticker symbol of a diversified investment trust or real estate investment trust you trust. And there you go. Toss a couple bucks into that. And that's it. So stability being a homeowner and mobility being used that money to invest and travel overseas. I would say you can have both right now. And I say the best option for you is to invest in some kind of real estate investment trust and go travel overseas, because owning a home won't keep you down and preventing you from traveling. Unless right now the rest of your the rest of your letter is about, oh, and I found this perfect place and I love my community, then you're not in the market for a house. So I think you can have both. I'd like this video to be for those who have an above average stable financial footing, 300 plus thousand in liquid assets, and the realistic means to travel overseas without stressing. With how fast the landscape is changing in America and the fact that even if you purchase a home, there's a real possibility the government can import less friendly migrants to live next door to you on the government dime, and I'd have no power to stop it. Is it worth trying to purchase a home in a safe, for the moment neighborhood? I would only buy a house in America if it meant I could stay close to my family. So my purchased home would have to be in Philly. Oh my God. You're worried about immigrants when you're going to buy in Philly? I mean, where? I mean, actual Philadelphia or King of Prussia or one of the nicer burbs? I don't know, man. I mean, I love my family, but I mean, you know who you should talk to? I'm being serious about it. Who you should talk to who faced the same thing? Donovan Sharp. He moved out of Philly recently, and he's older, wiser than you, and has insight. And he also had family, kind of the paradox you're in. Additional information. I still haven't decided what I'd like to do, but I'm leaning towards traveling because it looks like my parents intend to pass off the house down to me that we're currently living in. I have no siblings. Okay, here's what I do, man. And this is what I'd continue to do. If you're, and I can't remember our previous consultation because I'm busy. There's millions of consultations. If your parents will allow you to continue living there, and I'm also going to implore you to be a minimalist, keep the amount of shit you have in that house to a minimum. All right. And I would travel, give your parents a respite from you. But it sounds like you love your family and your family loves you because you want to be close to them. And I can't deny you that if you got a great family and you want to be close to them, all right, I guess that supersedes all the other concerns like crime and shit in the streets. However, you are still young. I got to imagine you've been working a lot ever since you've been an adult. You probably haven't had a lot of fun. So what I would do, since your parents seem like they're going nowhere, I mean, I don't mean in life. I mean, they're not moving. Why don't you go travel? And then if you're worried, like, oh, I really like to get into property. You know, like I'd really like to get married. And, well, sure. Well, there ain't a girl in front of you right now, but there's a way. It's not perfectly analogous, but real estate investment trusts are like being able to put money towards finding a good quality wife. You get the benefits of a good quality wife, but it's not actually your wife until you find the wife you want to marry. Maybe it's not too analogous. Maybe it's not. And then you find it, and then you sell your real estate investment trust and wifiness, and then you go get yourself qualified. I found one, and then you cash this investment in, and then I don't know. It's somewhat analogous in that you don't know where you want what you're doing right now. You don't know at this moment what you want to do, and that's fine. And in traveling, all you're doing there is going out and get more information about where you potentially might like to live, which is fine. And you're the perfect candidate for it. 25, that's go travel, man. Go travel, figure out this world where you want to live. You're right. There is no risk free. I'm very curious how the election will go. You're going to find out whether generally women want to have foreigners come in and just, they could practice the little socialist. It's not even socialist. It's this weird utopia where, don't worry, liberal white woman to the rescue, although it's not explicitly white women, of course. It is liberal women. You're going to find out, you can't predict this. All right. So I wouldn't worry too much about what if I buy a house and they just drop a bunch of immigrants in or Section 8 or a meth house or whatever. Don't worry about that for now. You're not there. But you are at the stage of going out and finding out where to travel. Sounds like your folks will watch over your shit. I would purge your stuff of all the shit that you don't need and you're not going to carry with you, right? Out of respect to your parents. And then also, I would have a conversation with your parents. Right? You may like, well, I love my folks, And you go buy a house and your dad was like, man, I hate this fucking place. Let's get the fuck out of Philadelphia. And then he puts the house up for sale the next day. So you guys got to coordinate like, hey, I love you guys and want to live nearby. You guys want to stay here forever, or do you want to get the fuck out of Dodge? So that's a mandatory conversation you have to have with your parents. You say, I'm thinking about buying a house, not today or tomorrow, but one of the things that's very key is I want to be by you guys. Do you guys plan to stay here? Because if you're leaving in 10 years, well, I'll go fuck around and, go to Thailand and get myself some ha-urs. Whatever it is that you want to do when you travel. I'm not going to judge. You can do what you want. I'm a libertarian. You go travel, and then you come back and revisit it in 8 years. And Dad said, yeah, I'm thinking that. You say, Dad, I went traveling, there's this place in Texas that, I don't know. They got a Buc-ee's and big titted women. And your dad, oh, let's go to the ranch. Let's go to the town of big titted women in Texas. They got a Buc-ee's and they got a Waffle House and they got a shooting range. This would be like the man's most perfect town ever. They girls with big tits and long fucking bass, early 80s hair. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, man. I wonder how we get the economy going again. I really wonder how we could get production going again. Only there was a way to mobilize and inspire the army of stagnant labor laying around playing video games. I wonder if there was a way to do that. But you go out, I think now is the ideal time for, your folks probably they're kind of stuck there. They got a job or something. They're not, so you're kind of you're the expeditionary force. You go out and explore. You come back and report. But talk to your folks like, hey, what's the game plan here you guys want to do? And just so you know, their game plan is going to change. It's always a moving target. What is good now may not be good 2 years from now. Say, oh, shit, they put Section 8 housing in, or a bunch of liberal white Karens took over the HOA. We got to get the fuck out of here. Like, oh, shit, here they come. Quick, what do we do? I don't know. Put a STEM degree on your door. Maybe that'll keep them away like vampires and crosses. Find out what your folks are doing, and the solution may be solving itself. It says, no, we want to go down to Tennessee, or we want to go down to Florida, we want to go here. Well, I don't know, son. You go out and find out and let us know. Report back. And then kind of revisit this in 2 to 3 years. But yeah, in the meantime, I can't guarantee what's going to happen to the price of the real estate investment trust, and there's scores of them. But yeah, if you want to get a little exposure into real estate without having to actually buy the land, and also still allow you to travel overseas or travel domestically, I'd go look at some real estate investment trusts. Generally speaking, you would use that as your down payment because it should more or less correlate with property prices all over. In that case, you don't want to get yourself like a real estate investment trust that specializes in nursing homes. You want something that probably specializes in residential land or apartment buildings, ideally a little bit of commercial real estate, a little bit there. Commercial real estate is taking a hit. That's taking a hit. So maybe you're getting a little bit of a dip if there's commercial real estate. Anyway, I'm not telling you to time anything. Take a look at that, investigate that as a possible investment option. Consider tossing some money in there. Now you got your real estate exposure taken care of. You could still travel. You don't have any responsibilities or obligations. Shit, if your folks are allowing you to just stay there and you could travel, fuck yeah. And what you're doing, keep in mind, yeah, okay, it's going to be fun, but you're also doing a fair amount of work. You're going out there into the wilderness and figuring out kind of, okay, mom, dad, where do we want to live? You're doing work. You're helping out the family as a whole. And this could end up, I mean, no joke. It could be $100,000 benefit rate of return where you're like, oh, there's a place, dad, mom, I ain't got to check this out. Oh, sure, yeah. And then you go there before it goes pop, before it gets gentrified or something like that. So in short, the premise you're putting forward to me is, well, can I be stable or mobile? And I'm saying in your individual case, you can be both because home ownership isn't for you. And also false premise, home ownership isn't necessarily stability. Having equity in a home or real estate is, but that's just your equity position. That says nothing about, oh, I'm trying to think of the dumbass shit. Caulking cracks so water doesn't get in there and break it apart anymore. Caulking cracks. What else did I do? I tightened down a toilet lid today, you know? What else? Installing a radon abatement system. I don't know if you got that in Philly or not. If you're looking to radon. We got a lot of it out here. I guess there's a lot of uranium and plutonium, like in trace levels in the ground out here. I guess that's a concern out here. They're putting a uranium mine not too south. They're thinking of putting one over in Edgemont, South Dakota. I'm just saying, a lot of shit goes into home ownership, shit that you don't have time for right now, shit that you shouldn't be bothered with. And if you just rented a place, dude, you're already living at home. Fuck, you don't even need to pay property taxes and interest and insurance. Stay the fuck at home. Keep tossing your money into real estate or stocks and bonds. Just stay there, man. It's go travel and down the road in 2 to 3 years, but have a conversation with your folks, see what they want to do. And that should further give you scope and direction where you want to go. Link below is my book, Reconnaissance Man. If you're trying to figure out where you want to live in the United States, go get the book, Reconnaissance Man. It teaches you how to reconnoiter United. Diesel, you didn't pay a super chat, but I'm going to tell you this. Fuck Wisconsin. I hate Minnesota the most, but man, Wisconsin is a very close second for slightly different reasons. You do not want to go to Wisconsin. Someone paid me to do a video about Wisconsin, and I talked about all my experiences and how much I hate Wisconsin, and it got taken down. It was too hateful. Do not go to Wisconsin. Aggrieved Diplodocus, $2. Thoughts on creating a corp to collectively money houses. So group friends, marketing, LLC, money, land, build houses, lives, avoids red tape. Dude, I have no fucking idea what you're writing, man. Why this abbreviation and shit to collectively money houses? You mean to form a corporation to build homes or to be a homeowner real estate company? If you want to get into real estate, fine. I had rental property. Things I would have done differently. I will never buy in a blue city ever again. You never buy in a blue city. Do not buy where Democrats are the city council, because they will take your property. They will, and by take, I mean they'll tell you whether or not you can rent it out, how much you can rent it out for, who you have to rent it out to, and then they're going to tax the ever-living fuck out of you. You do not own your property in blue towns. You are leasing it from the city council. Understand that. So I would not do that. I would not be a landlord to people. I will never rent to people again. I didn't have any bad experience. I mean, it's a minorly bad experience. I've never had any bad experience. You never rent to people. Never. You can have rent to cars, like parking lots and parking ramps. Maybe commercial buildings if you want to do it that way. That's still technically people. What was the other one? You could rent to farmers if you want to buy a bunch of acreage. And, it's arable. People can put agriculture on it. But I will never rent to human beings again. They have way too many fucking rights. I know that sounds horrible, but they could just sit there, depending on the city and the state you're in. They could squat, they can piss, no. Not Americans today. Not the adult children running around like Americans today. There's no way. All right, there you guys go. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.